Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Cole with M5X Mechanics here, and today we have another Honda Civic in. I believe this is a 10th gen, but don't quote me on that. This is a 2017. I believe this body style is the same for 2016 to 2021. This one is equipped with the 2-liter naturally aspirated motor. The other option is the 1.5-liter turbo, but again, this is the 2-liter. So anyways, I got kind of a weird one in here. This customer came in and they're complaining about A, loss of power, and then B, rough idle. So I went ahead when the car initially came in and confirmed that. I don't know if it's gonna cut out there, but anyways, I don't know if it's gonna do it for us, but let's just check to see what the idle's looking like. I can feel a little bit of vibration, so that does tell me the idle is a little bit rough. And then there you guys can see, it's not jumping around a whole lot right now, but it was a little bit. Let's go ahead and put it into drive, see if that changes anything. There we go, drive. And you can see the needle is bouncing right there. So again though, there's no check engine codes, nothing like that, just rough idle and loss of power. So confirmed what the customer said. Now the issue is, when you don't have a code, it can be hard to diagnose and figure out what the problem is. Now, as far as these two issues themselves, rough idle and lack of power, there's a few things, common things that it could be, and you know, spark plugs being fouled out or something like that, transmission potentially slipping. That shouldn't do too much with idle, but this does have a CVT, which is notoriously weak. That's why I want to mention that. Lean code or vacuum leak somewhere. PCV, O2 sensors, fuel filter, fuel pump. The list kind of goes on and on. There's a lot of things that can relate to it. But the two most common ones that I see, and this can be applied to a variety of different cars, not just Honda specifically, is the mass airflow sensor here and the throttle body. Obviously, the mass airflow sensor is very critical because that measures the air-fuel ratio in the car. And if you don't have the right air-fuel ratio, you can be dealing with those symptoms. So what I'm going to try to do, guys, is I am going to go ahead and just replace the mass airflow sensor. If I were you, you can start by trying to clean it, which I already did on this car to no effect, using this cleaner right here. And that's why I'm opting to replace it. On top of that, I also want to go back in there and clean the throttle body just to be safe. Now, I know on these newer cars, it can be a little tricky. You might want a memory saver so you don't have to reset the throttle or anything like that. But I think I should be okay. Once I unplug it, I shouldn't have any issues. So yeah, I just wanted to do a little tutorial on this because after doing some research, it is a common issue. So let's go ahead and jump in there, start taking some things apart so we can go ahead and do this. All right, guys, now very straightforward is the mass airflow sensor. If you guys are wanting to go this route of replacement, very simple. Push this tab down with your thumb. You'll see this clip pop up and you can go ahead and remove it. From there, Honda was nice to us. A lot of the times they like to use special screws on the mass airflow sensor that will take a special socket. Honda, like I said, was nice, so we just have two simple Phillips head screws there that we're going to go ahead and unloosen, and then we can go ahead and pull the whole entire MAF out. Obviously, installation is just reverse order of that. Try not to drop the screw like I did. Okay, guys, now moving to the throttle body cleaning part, we're going to need to remove the intake boot. We have a hose clamp on each side, one on the throttle body back there, one on the air box, and then we're going to have a couple of hoses that we're going to want to disconnect as well. These are just held on by a clamp right there, and then we'll be able to remove the throttle body. So let me go work, or sorry, the intake boot. So let me work on that, and then we'll pick back up. Okay, so I went ahead and got the air intake hose off here. These clamps you can get with that same Phillips screwdriver that you use to get the mass airflow screws out. And then from there, you'll simply just have this clip where this hose right there goes into. So what you'll need to do is get some pliers, squeeze that clamp right there, and then use your other hand to pull up on this hose to get it out. This one in the back you don't want to mess with because this is actually a coolant hose. It helps cool the throttle body. As you can see, it goes down to there. So if possible, try to refrain from removing that, otherwise you'll be leaking coolant. Once you get the air intake boots out the way, obviously you can see I got the air box as well. This is very simple. Just two clips right here. You just pop them off with your finger. Once you got all that stuff off, we have access to the throttle body here. So as you can see, I have mine unplugged. That should solve a lot of our issues. And to unplug it, it's the same like the mass airflow sensor. Put your thumb on that and you can see the clamp moving up. From there, all we got to do is get onto these 12mm bolts. There's 4 of them all around the throttle body. And then we'll get that off and I'll show you guys how we go about cleaning it. Here's the tool that I'll be using to remove those bolts. Again, 4 12mm bolts. And then I should be able to connect this somewhere. All right, and then once you get those 12mm bolts off, guys, you are gonna wanna get access to the back of the throttle body, not just the front. The goal is you're gonna see there's black buildup in there on the flap, right in there. That's called carbon buildup. The goal is you're gonna wanna clean that out as best you can from both sides. There'll be carbon in the front and on the back of the throttle body. So like I said, it will be tight, but get in there and yeah, there's a good shot. There's a lot more on the back side and you're just gonna wanna clean that up the best you can using carb cleaner. This is a strong cleaner. I just spray it on a rag, get in there, wipe everything down. Don't forget, you're also going to want to initiate the flap. So you can see the throttle body opening there with my finger. So open that up because you're gonna wanna clean on the edges of that as well. Hold it open with your finger and get in there and clean it. So that's what I'm gonna go ahead and do and I'll show you guys the final product. All right guys, picking up from yesterday. So we went ahead, cleaned the throttle body. I didn't show me actually doing it, so I'll try to add some pictures or videos or whatever the case is. And then obviously we went ahead and got our intake boot back on. You guys know the process of that. Tighten up the clamps with that same Phillips that you used to remove the mass airflow sensor. Get your hose reconnected. So obviously, last thing we need to do is get our new mass airflow sensor in there. And we know the order. There might be an arrow pointing in the direction of the airflow. That obviously should be pointing towards the engine here. You'll also need to line up the holes. These probably will only line up a certain way. But anyways, go ahead, get your mass airflow sensor back in there. And now we're gonna go ahead and start the car, see if there's any difference, take it for a drive, see what happens. All right guys, so we got the Civic all put back together. Throttle body is cleaned, new MAP sensor is in there. Now there is one last step that we need to do and I'm in the middle of doing it, so let me show you guys here. But real quick, that last step is resetting the throttle body. That is a critical step here. So I got my scanner hooked up. I'm in the middle of the process already. And if we go in here and look, we can see, you'll see that there is I got some notifications on the screen. That's because I had the battery unplugged and whatnot. So I just got to reset that system. But our RPM is looking nice and smooth. It's staying in a good range, a little bit higher. Before it was at about 600 or so. So anyways, as far as the throttle body reset, here are the instructions right here. It says, make sure all electrical items are off and start the engine and hold it at 3000 RPM. So I already went ahead and did that. They say to hold it until you hear the radiator fan cycle. Once you've done that, then it says simply just let go of the throttle and let it idle with no electrical load on it for about 5 minutes. And that's the stage that I'm at right now. And again, guys, like I said, it feels like it's idling a lot better. I haven't driven it yet to feel if there's a power difference at all. But I'll show you guys on that test drive when we do that to see. But anyways, guys, I just wanted to point that out. You have to do a throttle body reset because the car will be running a little wonky at first start afterwards. But yeah, I think this solved our issue. But like I said, I'll confirm when we test drive the car. Alrighty, guys, so just to wrap it up here, we got back from the test drive. Power is back. All lights are gone. And check out that needle. Nice and smooth. So we are good to go. So hopefully this video is going to help some of you guys out. There we are in drive and gear and still nice and buttery smooth. Like I said, hopefully this is going to help some of you guys out because upon my research, apparently this is semi-common on this car. So again, this is a 2017, I believe that's a 10th gen Honda Civic, and this is the 2-liter motor. So to give you guys an idea, just to wrap things up here, We went ahead, cleaned the throttle body, did a throttle body reset, and also went ahead and replaced that mass airflow sensor. Everything is seeming good here, so we're gonna wrap that up, guys. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully this is gonna help you guys out.